right, folks, it is that time again. This is the February Home Free Super Show. I hope I'm actually going to be able to get this out on at least Patreon, if not YouTube, before February's actually out. I run a little behind this month. I was under weather for a few days, a couple of weeks ago, and then I've had some personal stuff, some business stuff that I've had to take care of. But we're going to get into it here. I'm about to listen to the complete Challenge the Sea album from Home Free. This is their new sea shanty album. I have had many requests to do the sea shanty song. Usually how I do this, whenever I listen to a full album on Patreon. Oh, let me fix my mic here. Excuse me just a minute. I usually just listen, because I've listened to so many songs and I got limited time. I usually just listen straight through. I'll comment while it's going on, and then after the one song goes over, I'll stop the record and talk about what I just heard. That's what I intend to do for this. The problem with that is it's really hard to then edit and get all of this stuff up on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, this is going to be just a few snippets of the individual songs as I'm going through. And at the end of the video, we're going to be answering comments from Home Free fans from our last set of Home Free videos that have come out over the last month. And on Patreon, you can see the full thing, and you can also go watch all the Home Free reactions, other stuff we've done on there. You can see the entire thing. I'm not 100% sure how many of these, if any, I'm going to be able to edit in such a way where I can get it through YouTube's flagging policies and all that good stuff, because it's just a giant hassle to go through all that and get it cleared these days. So Patreon maybe end up being the only place that you can see the reaction to these full things. If so, I apologize, but that's where we are in reaction video land in 2026. All right. Without further ado, of course, be sure, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, click the bell for notifications, hit the hype button, all that good stuff. All right, let's do it. This is 3 ocean emojis.
Chance, I don't know if you've heard, but sea shanties are cool now.
He's right. They are.
Okay, that was nice. That was funny. It was a nice little intro to the whole idea of them doing an entire sea shanty album, which I think their biggest video ever is still the sea shanty that they did during COVID, I think. So yeah, that was a nice little introduction to their sea shanty material for YouTube. Let's get to the first proper song. This is For the Bonnie Ship, the diamond goes a-fishing for the whale. Yeah, man, nice. Yeah, that was great. And it was, I think, the perfect mix of classic shanty with the Yo Ho Me Hearties. Almost posted wasn't really a pirate song. It was a whaling song, I believe. But it was great. It was a perfect blend of that classic sea shanty, but also they were doing some modern feel to it, and you had the acoustic guitars going, which I always love, even though I like the acapella stuff. You know, I come from an instrumentation background. I was a guitar player before I was a singer and a songwriter, so I love the acoustic guitar in there, and they had some more of the modern elements with the kind of a modern folk pop vibe in there, and really good. I loved how Tim, I mentioned, he took his normal bass tone and kind of, I feel like, toned down his accent too, made it less of that Texas drawl, more into trying to sound like he was from the era, would be on that ship. I think it worked really well. Yeah, love that. Great first full song to the record. Even we had that little intro track on the Bon Voyage. Yeah, great stuff. So up next is Leave Her Johnny. Leave Her Johnny. Yeah, so he called him giant octopus. Okay, that's funny. Johnny, leave her for the yeah, again, great rendition there, and they're being pretty consistent with the theme so far and the vibe they're going for, really making a coherent album, even though these are sea shanties that are of disparate origins and disparate tales, but it still all ties in because stylistically they're all shanties and they're all about life at sea and they're all classic. They're from, as far as I know, all these are older, maybe some that are newer shanties that were written. Some of these may even be originals. I don't know. Somebody let me know in the comments. Somebody may already told me that at some point. I forgot. I got a lot of stuff going on. We get a whole bunch of comments. I don't even see them all. Our comment monitor goes through them. But anyway, I'm like, yeah, that was really fun, and I like the contrast. The first video, I feel like was kind of serious and took the whole theme of the sea serious, and then this one's like, it didn't take it quite as serious, and I like that. I like that switch up there. And again, they had this backdrop as opposed to the previous video where they were out there on the actual sea. This time they're in studio. They have a backdrop there that looks almost animated SpongeBob-y type, and they've got the faux ship outline that they're standing in, cut out that they're standing in, and they've got Bastine has the wheel of the ship. It's not even connected to anything, or maybe connected when it started out. I have to go back and look, but anyway, and they were clearly having fun, and they ended up Rob reeled in a giant octopus. It wasn't a real octopus. It was fun. You can tell they were having a blast, and the arrangement was great.
Too proud to leave, I worked my fingers to the bone so I could own my Downeaster Alexa.
Yeah, that was great. Again, they're mixing it up with the videos, and I didn't know how they were going to do this with it being every single song being the same musical style. Like, how are you gonna make each video pop? How are you gonna make each video stand out from the other? And so far, they've nailed it. That no video has been alike yet, and the songs they are alike in that they're the same genre. They're sea shanties that are infusing that pop style, like I said, but they also don't sound the same. They're also distinct songs, distinct arrangements of shanties. I'm digging this record. Really, really great job here. Really great job from the guys. All right, what's next? This is Skull and Bones. Yeah, that was great. So I'm glad I checked that out. I almost skipped it. I was like, no, if I'm going to listen to the album, I'm going to listen to them even if I've heard them before. And the thing is, yeah, I had heard the audio, but I did not go back and listen and watch the videos. No way that I watched the video and forgot about it, because that was excellent. It was very cinematic, and again, very Pirates of the Caribbean feel. I take it that this was like a production in conjunction with the video game that was produced by the company, I guess. It was really, really, really good. And while I'm sitting there watching it, I see Austin there. I'm like, oh yeah, Austin was with them whenever they did this, which would explain why I saw that the version on the album said 2025 version. I saw that somewhere. But on Home Free's playlist for the album, they have this video on there, was because they re-recorded it for the album with Bastine, but they didn't produce a new video. And if I got that wrong, somebody can correct me in the comments. But yeah, great version. And again, we've got 4 videos here that are totally different, each tell a completely different story. This one was actually back in the pirate day, pirate ship. The guys are all dressed as pirates, very serious. Again, it ties in with the game. And it had the story of this young girl who volunteers, and she's low hand on deck initially, and then before it's over with, it looks like she's she's serving as captain for the ship. Yeah, really, really enjoy that. And the music, of course, was great as always. All right, this is Northwest Passage featuring Sean Dagher, Dagher. If that's not the correct pronunciation, somebody can correct me in the comments.
And make a northwest passage to the sea.
Man, the video was great. Again, you had this actor, it said 1843, and he's up there. I got that he was miming. That was the lyrics of the song. And they had the guys kind of dressed in period clothes at a separate location singing the song, intercutting with this guy back in the 19th century. And he's writing a letter to his to his wife or his girl. And I wasn't something that I may have missed because I was really listening to the song at points, but at some point there, it looked like he found something like maybe a fossil or something. And it's like, was he there mining, or was he there? Was supposed to be was supposed to be doing some archaeological stuff, which I don't think was really a thing, 1843. But at the end, you get a twist ending that it's home free and their guest. Somebody let me know who their guest was. A Sean, I've lost his name now, but I didn't recognize it. But they're actually on the tour bus singing this song, and the guy who was the prospector or whatever he was up there in the Northwest Passage, Yukon Territory, I should say, that he was their bus driver, listening to them, and it was his wife. He was hoping he was going to be home from the tour in time for spring, like he said in the letter. A really, really clever video, nice storytelling. Again, each video has been something completely different. That arrangement in particular was really, really something special. Very soothing, very sweet. It was just that type of song. And I'm not sure, it said 150 years earlier at the end of that video. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be referencing something that we had seen. It was supposed to be referencing like what? Yeah, I'm just not 100% sure. Or it was teeing up the next video and then cut off, and then we're supposed to go into this, which is Hoist the Colors, which I've already done a reaction to, but I'm gonna re-listen to it now. And that's got to tee up the next video, right? The next song. Got to. So what the reason, whenever I checked this out, did a reaction for it, this is what prompted me to wait till all the videos were out and then do a full reaction, because I felt like it was so short, which the original short, I understand, but I remember Voice Play did a really great version of this. They expanded it and did like this 3.5 minute video, whatever. And I just thought, man, this was a really short song to warrant producing a fully produced video. And I thought it has to have some kind of larger part in the album or what they have planned for the videos for this. So I don't think I'm going to check any more out until they get all of them out. And that's why I waited, and now I'm doing the full reaction to the album. And I'm glad I did, because I feel like we're fixing to get the payoff where that ended with Rob going below and shutting the door behind him. So let's do it. This is Challenge the Sea featuring The Longest Johns, which is a phenomenal name. I'm deducing they're an a cappella group with, or maybe not a cappella group, at least they specialize in sea shanties. That's what I'm getting just from the name. Let's do it.
Or find yourselves with challenge the sea, challenge the sea, challenge the sea.
All right, so is this gonna tee up and flow into the next one, or is that was just? Oh, record the Edmund Fitzgerald. All right, yeah, all right. So let me wrap this. Finish talking about that one. So yeah, once again, the video, the visuals, each one is a completely different story. Even though that video was a two-parter, it was continuing from Hoist the Colors. It was all the same characters on the same boat, and the Hoist the Colors ended with Rob going below, shut the door behind, and Challenge the Sea opened with him coming out. But Hoist the Colors, very serious song, very serious scene from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie from the At World's End. And they played it real serious in that video. It was very short. And then when they rolled in the Challenge the Sea, with Challenge the Sea, they started having some fun with it. So, but both worked. Both those videos worked, even though thematically they were completely different. Yet they were set in the same world with the same characters. And then at the very end, we find out it was all in Rob's imagination anyway. Really smart. I don't know The Longest John. Somebody wants to drop in the comments about them, let me know. But they obviously they filmed their scene separately with her washed aground in their inflatable raft, which was really funny, because you were supposed to kind of get more of a serious, even though they weren't played it serious on the guys weren't playing it serious on the ship, but they were on an actual ship in the ocean, which is a little bit more serious than a couple of guys on an inflatable raft. So that was really funny. But yeah, great arrangement. Really impressed with the creativity going into each one of these videos being something different, keeping it fresh, because it's really hard. I just didn't know how they were going to sustain an entire album of sea shanties whenever I heard they were doing this. Figured they were all going to be good, but I didn't know how they were going to be able to separate them and differentiate them, not only with the arrangements and the song choices themselves, but also the visuals with the music videos, and they have just knocked it out of the park. So this is Rick of Evan Fitzgerald. I actually did not know this song until I started doing music reactions several years ago, and this was one of the songs I react to this day. It's one of my biggest videos I've ever done. Of course, there were a lot of people in comments who were like, "How could you not know this song? You're supposed to be a professional singer-songwriter." It's like, guys, Gordon Lightfoot was not huge in Southwest Mississippi. What do you want me to say? But anyway, it was a great song. I loved it. And let's see what Home Free is going to do with this.
Is the faces and the names of the wives and the sons and the daughters.
Man, yeah, that was great. Again, seeing the visuals to that paired with the lyrics really brings it home of how serious a thing this was and what effect it had. These people lost their lives and what effect that it had on their families. And that last shot there showing the crosses, I guess as far as I know, it's at the actual site. It was, yeah, man, that was a great video, great song, great arrangement from the guys. Everybody, vocals were excellent on there. I love that little tag there with the acoustic guitar. I'm not sure. I see that this is an interlude here from Chance. I think I heard somebody said Chance had an acoustic interlude here. Is that going to be what was tacked on to the end of that video? Let's see. Yeah, okay. So I already heard that. All right. So we'll go to the next one.
Along the plains of Mexico, Santiana gained a day.
Okay, Santiana was a person. I had it in my mind as a ship. Okay, I like an idiot. All right. Okay, and then just goes right into Nantucket. Okay. Yeah, wow. That was the most creative video they've done yet. And again, each one totally different from the last. And like I never in a million years would have thought they would have been able to come up with this many different clever videos for sea shanties. They've just nailed it. And of course, again, the vocals are great. The arrangements are great. They're keeping this fresh. Probably the Santiana song was probably my least favorite so far, both the visual and the music, because at that point it kind of felt like we kind of heard how many of our songs, like 10 songs deep into the sea shanties, and this is kind of it. Yeah, okay, it kind of sounds like some of the rest of them put together, and then the video wasn't necessarily as interesting. Still good, don't get me wrong, but probably if I'd have watched it as a standalone as opposed to in the album, I probably would have liked it better. But probably the weakest track so far. But then the next track, they upped the ante and did this incredible animated version. And yeah, really, really good stuff. So let's see what they got next. This is the Mingale Boat Song.
Round into the weather.
Man, this is one of the most beautiful ones yet. Yeah. That might be my favorite one. The music, anyway, not necessarily the video, but the music, probably my favorite one from the record. Really, man, good stuff, man. That was great. And again, they're just coming up with different ways to do these videos. And I love the fact that this is essentially a digital visual album also. Like all of these videos, most of the videos, there was a couple that didn't really just exactly roll into each other. Well, I'm not actually sure now that I say that. I think it was more just the break of the skull and bones And it makes me wonder, had they put out another one and I just missed it? Or they plan on putting out another one? Or did they not? Because when I went and to look these up, this was the one, the Skull and Bones on here was the one on Home Free's Challenge the Seat playlist, which is why I put it on my playlist so I could listen to the whole record. But yeah, they came up with a full visual album that I thought was it's really, really, really smart, really clever. All right, so this is The Parting Glass, and there's one more after this. It's real short. The Fair Winds, I think it's called. Let's do it.
And all I've done.
Now they're bringing it back with all the different locations from all the videos for the entire record. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it feels like the closer, but there's one more left. Yes, that was great. They pulled in all those different parts from all the other videos, all the other songs, and they were intercutting with them in singing this song in the sets and the different costumes that they had done in the previous videos, and also intercutting scenes from the previous videos. Really, really clever and great way, I feel like, to end the record, but it's not quite over. We got another short little video here that I guess is the codas is Fair Winds.
So fail to be the parting glass.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. The whole record was great. The fact that they were able to take all these sea shanties that are kind of in a way the same in a lot of ways because of the genre, the what's the word I'm looking for here, the genre tropes, I guess you could call it. You have to have certain elements for it to be a sea shanty. They all have to share those certain elements, so you could think of let's kind of get boring if you're just doing a whole album of sea shanties, but no, it was not. And they end up telling a story with all of the videos together, which was great and unexpected. And all these videos connected in some way, and then they brought it there to the end and connect them together, and they had that little bit of coda that actually connected to the first little intro video they did, which was Rob pitching the idea of the sea shanty album. Went absolutely, it was great. It was great. It was really like a mini musical film. And part of me wishes that I hadn't even stopped and analyzed the song between, like I did with most of these, because they were all supposed to just flow together like that. But yeah, this was great. This was absolutely fantastic. All right, well that's the reaction. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm gonna answer, I think I got time to answer here, the comments that I had queued up here from our previous Home Free reaction videos, Home Fries, comment on our videos. Up first, this is from Judy Davis, who says, Home Free, going for the laugh on this one. This was from their Valentine's Day video that they did a few years ago, I Swear, their cover of I Swear. But it did not take away from this beautiful song and their beautiful vocals. Tim eating the rose petal made me laugh so hard. Rupp's performance and sounds were as always magnificent, even though he prefers to bathe fully clothed. John Michael Montgomery's version is worth checking out. Beautiful. Yeah, I may actually do that. I may see about doing a reaction to his version. Go sit on that video that I didn't know that he even did it. The one I knew was, their name escapes me, man. I have been having a hard time thinking of words and names today. But all for one, right? Is that right? Anyway, that's the version I knew, was the, like the boy R&B band, of 90s R&B band version. But anyway, yeah, that was a great video, really funny, and thanks for commenting on that, Judy. Up next, we've got, this is from Indigo Moon, who says Home Free has been independent for 7 years now, so anything from their Dive Bar Saints album in 2019 and after, you shouldn't be getting any copyright strikes on. Austin said himself that part of the reason they went independent was so people could do reactions to their music. I realize that doesn't stop YouTube from flagging them, but at least you'll know which ones will be cleared so you can plan accordingly. Indigo Moon, I appreciate that if you're watching this new video, and I would get this comment a lot and have for years since I've been talking about this, and there's a lot of confusion if you're not on the inside. I've made videos on this. I've actually written articles about this and published it on my Medium page. And go, I have a quick plug here. You can go check me out on Medium, Cole Powell. But anyway, as far as home free goes, it's actually easier to react to their stuff from before they were independent that is managed by Sony, because Sony doesn't care. YouTube will automatically flag it in Sony's name, and then we dispute it, and in 30 days it's released. And that I can't think of a single time that hasn't happened. Home Free's current distributor, it's not Home Free. This is the people that are managing their stuff. Third party, The Orchard, apparently has a default policy of if a reactor puts it up, YouTube flags it automatically in the name of The Orchard on behalf of Home Free. That's who The Orchard is working for. We dispute it, saying it's fair use. We shouldn't have a copyright claim on this. By default, within about 2 weeks, The Orchard rejects our dispute. It's like nobody even looks at the legitimacy of our dispute. Then, if YouTube shows The Orchard that they have flagged more than about a minute and 10, minute and 15 seconds of the song, that we have played that uninterrupted of the song, The Orchard will then reject our claim and threaten us with a copyright strike unless we either rescind our appeal to their rejection to our dispute or we delete the video. Apparently, this is like policy from The Orchard, best I can tell. Like if you play more than a minute and 10, minute, 15 seconds, we're going to threaten to give you a copyright strike unless you quit saying that it's fair use, which is what we're doing. YouTube changed how their algorithm works last year, and it's now flagging we may only play a minute of the song uninterrupted, but YouTube will like flag an additional 30 seconds. So now it looks like that we're playing way more of the song uninterrupted than we actually are. And when The Orchard sees that, after we go through a lengthy process, they'll say, no, you're playing too much of the song. Essentially, they're not literally saying that, but that's what their actions are saying. So no, you can't, you don't have fair use. Now, as far as why this is such a big deal for this channel, the Random Mind Records channel, which I may be putting this on the Cole Powell channel also, but the Random Mind Records channel is this Random Mind Records is my company. It's the company YouTube channel. And the policy that I instituted whenever I started getting on YouTube and playing around with all this stuff was we do not keep up videos that we can't get cleared under fair use. Copyright laws are outdated, and this is what I've written on. I've done videos about it. Copyright laws are outdated for the digital age. And one of these days, either legislation or litigation is going to come down. And I want to have a record of good faith that I did not knowingly, intentionally infringe on somebody's copyright. If I'm using third-party material, I'm using it because I think I can use it. I have the right to use it under fair use. And if there's any kind of issue that comes up with that, there's a third-party manager out there. If they have a policy that they have enacted that makes us not be able to put the stuff up, we're going to abide by their policy, and we're going to abide by our policy, which is we're going to take the stuff down. So that's why it's such a big deal for us, for me, for this channel, because I take a little bit different view, a little bit different approach of the legal copyright side of this stuff. So yeah, it's supposed to be a short version, it being a long version, but I hope that explains it and didn't make it even more confusing than it was. Now, last comment, here's actually two comments, a little bit of a conversation. Here is was a comment and a reply to it. This is from Teresa Cartwright, who's one of our viewers, big Home Free fan, good viewer of the channel here. And Teresa says, I love all Home Free's music, whether original or cover group or individual. They are each so talented. I understand why Austin left the group, but no disrespect to Adam Bastine, he just doesn't have the power and stage presence Austin has. By the way, if you haven't seen Austin's version of Defying Gravity, I guarantee it's the most original of it that you'll hear. Thanks for playing my favorite group. Thanks for watching and commenting, Teresa. This was an interesting comment here because, and I haven't checked out, I want to go check out this Defying Gravity. Too, I want to go check out some Austin solo stuff. But it's an interesting comment. Adam Bastine, he's a great singer. He does a great job with the group. I have no problem listening to the group with him. I will say, to Teresa's point here, I think definitely my personal favorite, and I think like peak home free so far in their career, because I've listened to the bulk of their catalog at this point, even though I wasn't with them at the beginning. All right, so that little interruption here. I'm not even sure where I was, but anyway, so I feel like that the peak, the magic of the group was the version of with Chance and Austin. Chris was great. Bastine also great. I feel like that iteration of the group with Chance and Austin so far, that's been kind of the apex, the pinnacle. And I'll go ahead and read the reply to this comment. And this is E.A. Cole. E.A. Cole, another great viewer of the channel, replies to this comment and says, I have to push back on that, having seen Home Free on stage doing essentially the same show with first Austin, then Bastine. With Austin, it was sometimes the Austin and the other guy's show. Rob called him the ambitious one, which wasn't an insult, but it wasn't a compliment either. Bastine drops into the puzzle more cleanly and creates a more cohesive sounding experience on stage. Austin instinctively seeks the spotlight, even when it is meant to be trained on someone else in a group. That's not a very pleasant trait. So, this is also probably not an incorrect assessment, because I would say whenever I first started checking out Home Free, if somebody were to have asked me, yeah, but who's the lead singer? I would have said, oh, well, Austin Brown is the lead singer, even though they're not supposed to really have a lead singer. It's supposed to be more of an ensemble, of a group. But Austin just has this thing about him, this star power, star presence that makes him stand out. And he really feels more like a solo act. And I don't know how well he's been doing with his solo career. I really need to go check out stuff, because I really love his sound. But to E.A. Cole's point here, yeah, I would say that's true, that as a group, they are more cohesive and more of a unit, as opposed to there being anybody as quote-unquote lead singer. At this point, I think from what I've seen, Rob might have kind of stepped into the role of lead singer, just because I think he's had the most solos. I could be wrong on that. Somebody can correct me. Somebody's probably been keeping up with this. But he's just seemed to kind of rise more to the top now that Austin is gone. But anyway, yeah, regardless, I enjoy every iteration of the group. I enjoy the original iteration when Chris was still with them. I say original. I know there were more iterations before this point, but whenever they did the sing-off and kind of got in the public spotlight, but I enjoyed that version. My favorite is, so far, has been the Austin Chance version. And then I'm enjoying the work I'm hearing from Bastine. He's a really good singer and fits well with the group and their arrangement, particularly this Sea Shanty album that I just listened to. So that's about it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and stick around. We'll have more. Of course, be sure, if you listen to this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, put up notifications, hit the hype button, and we will see you next time.